Hello everybody and welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. The crazy one is Freya, the fuzzy one. I'm Jason. We're bringing you today's video with frequent commercial breaks apparently. Very crazy. And today I want to talk about a book and an author that we've talked about in the past and a series we've talked about in the past. Probably one of the best series that modern series. Stop eating the books. Stop licking the books. One of the best modern series that has come out lately, especially in the fantasy genre. I want to talk about Erikson's Malazan, Book of the Fallen, Book 7, Reaper's Gale. Now this is an interesting series because it's 10 books long, and as we've gone through them, it's fascinating how he manages to tie so many things together, and how he's continued to expand this world. And you can tell there's definitely time jumps in there, but this world is also multiple worlds because the magic, the warrens and holds and such, they're entire separate worlds. Some of them are dying, some of them get stabilized. Then you got the houses of Azath. There's just so much to the series, and Reaper's Gale is. I just finished it yesterday, part of a little book club thing I'm in with some friends, and to me it's the best one out so far. So I'm not going to go through the usual 4 subjects because we've already talked about the world and the plot line ish and the writing style. I can't really say the characters, because one thing about Steven Erikson, he's constantly adding more characters. Almost need a map just to the characters to remember everybody. One of the great things, so I'm just going to talk about the book, and one of the great things that I really liked about Reaper's Gale is it's a lot like Book 6 in that it's flowing in action almost from the get-go. Because his first 4 books, and somewhat the 5th book also, were really slow and character-driven until the very last 1 to 2 chapters, and then it just oh my god, it just went insane. Every one of those books, when I got to those last couple of chapters, I finished them all in one go. It didn't matter what I was doing. I wouldn't even start them if I was at work on my breaks, because I knew once I got into them I was going to have to finish them. But the last book and this one, there's things happening and it's going from the get-go. It's those kind of end of the book, end game plots and action. It's just going, just boom, in your face. So very hard to put down. Another thing that I really liked about this one is you finally get some answers and some resolution to some of the things that have gone on in the past. I mean, we've got introduced to Troll Sengar in previous books, and that was interesting too, because we got introduced to Troll Sengar, then we got introduced eventually to Rulad, and then you find out really that what happened with Troll, and then with Onrak finding him and rescuing him, and the shorning of Troll and all that happened after Rulad became the Eternal Emperor, and yet that seemed to be the real thrust of the last book. So you kind of wonder the time frames of what's going on. When exactly did Rulad rise into power as this emperor? When exactly did these things happen with Troll Sengar and Fear Sengar? But we get a resolution to Troll's story and Onrak's story. We get a resolution to not Shirkalel, but we get a resolution to Saren Paddock's story. We get, for the most part, a resolution to Udanas, the slave, a resolution to Featherwitch's story. I think we get a resolution to Tihol Bedik's story as well, and his brothers, dead and alive, and to Bug, the elder god, as was revealed in the last book. For the first time, Steven Erikson resolves some of these character stories. I don't know if they'll show back up further on. I mean, there was one point where I thought Kalem's story was finished, was resolved. You know, got I don't want to call her wife, but had a companion, a whole bunch of children in a safe other world. So I thought his story was over, and then he came back, of course. So you never know if these character stories are actually resolved, but the first part of the stories definitely is. I mean, you finally get some answers and some resolution to these characters and their stories. Rulad's character arc, theoretically, so who knows, appears to have been resolved. Even Akarium, although I'm still not 100% certain, but even Akarium, you start getting a lot more answers. Karsa Orlom, you start getting some answers. I do find myself wondering where Mappo is, and I definitely find myself wondering where Captain Parrot is. Fiddler, Quick Ben, I mean, everybody is showing up in these books. Everybody is showing up. Sometimes they find themselves at odds with each other, even friends, even family. Sometimes they find themselves at odds with each other. Sometimes they find themselves just running into each other again in a way that they're able to aid each other. You definitely see Fierce Sengar have a real character arc as well, and really changing, not so much Rulad, Troll for sure. Troll and Onrak, their story, absolutely fascinating. It's pretty awesome. And of course, like I said, Fear and Serampadak and Udanas, even the child, even the former undead child has a story and a character arc, and we even find out more about her and more about what's going on there. We start finding out more about Skamandari Bloodeye. We finally, it finally feels like we're starting to get some answers to these questions that 6 books have laid the foundation for up to this point. And what could theoretically be coming. The 14th and the Bone Hunters, we still are not 100% certain where their future lies and what's going to happen to them in the future, but at least we start seeing some more. We start seeing some more. What happened to Tool? We find out what happened to Tool. Talk the Younger. Talk the Younger shows back up. It's incredible. You know, he's been through, I mean, you want to talk about somebody who's been through the ringer. Talk has been through the ringer a couple of times, tortured by a goddess, and, you know, I don't even know how many times he lost that eye of his. 3 times? 4? I don't know. But he shows back up. He shows back. He has an interesting character arc and parts to play in this thing. And then you have new characters get introduced. Red Mask. An interesting character. I honestly thought that he was going to come into play a lot more than he did. In a lot of ways, it feels like Red Mask's story was a side story that did not necessarily benefit the plot all that much. Everything that occurred with Red Mask and with what was going on there, honestly, could have just been could have just been mentioned in paragraphs or in conversations. Didn't have to have these entire sections of chapters put in there. I was a little disappointed with Red Mask and how that went. The way they laid out that character at the beginning and introduced him was showing him to be way more than he ended up being. I thought he was going to be another Akarium and another Quick Ben and you know, whatever happened to Tattersail. Tattersail does not show up in this one. I do wonder what happened with Tattersail. I'm sure she's going to show back up in another book. So, again, the series is absolutely incredible. Book 7, Reaper's Gale, amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you have not read Malazan, Book of the Fallen, you have got to start it. Stephen Erikson has definitely written a modern classic. He is going to, just from this 10-book series, he is going to go down as a legend in the fantasy world. It would not surprise me if one day Malazan gets turned into not a movie. There's no way on God's green earth they could turn it into a movie, but if it doesn't get turned into a TV show at some point, one day, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. You're talking a Game of Thrones level 10-season type thing, if not more. Just, again, absolutely incredible. Just amazing series. You guys have to read this. After you hit the like and subscribe buttons, guys, please check out Malazan, Book of the Fallen. And if you are caught up with us at this moment, Reaper's Gale. I will definitely be bringing you guys books 8, 9, and 10 as we finish them. I've been reading those very, very slow because I don't want to get too far ahead of the rest of the little group of friends that I'm reading it with, so that we can continue to discuss it amongst ourselves. So I'll bring you the rest of them. Could be a little while, but I will definitely bring you the rest of them. Thank you guys for watching. We will catch you next time. Bye now.